Hey guys, this is going to be a review of Korra Book 2, Episode 3, The Civil Wars Part 1. That was really... Okay, anyway, there is currently a football game going on right outside. You can hear everything in my room. I don't know how well it'll pick up on camera, but I got tired of waiting to film this review, so I'm going ahead with it anyway, and I don't care. Also, side note, I downloaded iOS 7 this morning, and I'm kind of obsessed with my phone now. This is the notes now, because this is my notes for the review, but it's really pretty, and I'm probably gonna get tired of that, like, within a week, but still. And iCloud, I'm so happy that iCloud finally exists. iCloud should have existed a long time ago, and if it wasn't for iCloud, I probably wouldn't have even bothered to download the update anyway. Yeah, anyway, Korra. Okay, so I was not really that upset with Korra at the end of the last two episodes. I know a lot of people were really upset with her decisions, but I personally was more or less fine with them, a little bit aggravated with some of the stuff, but overall was not really aggravated with Korra. After this episode, I am so upset with her. Like, at the beginning when she's talking to her uncle, she just, like, I don't understand why she's going along with him at all. Like, it makes no sense to me, and I don't understand how she can justify in her mind him bringing all these troops and how that is okay, and he's maintaining peace, which, I mean, maybe it's just because I'm a history nerd, but I'm thinking bringing in troops and saying it's to maintain peace is usually not a good sign. If you want to maintain peace, typically you leave the military out of it. So yeah, not a fan of that, not a fan of like Korra, how Korra decided to handle that. I also didn't really understand if her uncle had been chief of both tribes before, or if he declared himself the chief of the South after bringing his troops. Like, I didn't get which one, like, if he was already... Because Korra keeps referring to them as one tribe, but I never really thought of them as one tribe. I thought of them as one nation, but you had the northern tribe and then the southern tribe. So I'm not really sure if that's a new thing, or if that's something that he did upon bringing his troops. I also found it really creepy when Korra went to talk to him and he was sitting on the throne and he's like in half shadow. Like, he's just, there's no one there. It's like an empty throne room and he's sitting on the throne half in shadow, and Korra comes up to talk to him. And that struck me as kind of creepy because he apparently has no reason to be in the throne room. There's no one else there at all, and Korra just comes up to him. Random note, but yeah, I wouldn't imagine him just sitting there for like hours doing nothing, but okay. I loved Bolin in this episode. It was great, and I wish, because when they were at the restaurant place and Eska and Desna got up and went to do something, I don't even remember, and Bolin starts freaking out to Mako and Korra about how he tried to break up with her, and he's talking about trying to break up with her and how she didn't let him, and I really wish that we'd gotten to see those scenes, because I think it would have been pretty hilarious watching Bolin try to break up with Eska and her like realizing what he's doing and stopping him and whatnot. But I think that's absolutely hilarious. I look forward to seeing how that goes and how that's like resolved, because I think it's hilarious. Mako and Korra are so cute. I know after the first two episodes some people didn't like how Mako and Korra's relationship was being handled, and I totally understand why. Like, I get where they're coming from, but I love it. Aside from the one scene with cotton candy, which I still think was a little overboard, overall I really love their relationship. And Bolin made the comment about Mako being good at breaking girls' hearts and Korra better watch out or whatever, and I thought that was hilarious. But their relationship is so cute, and his line about, I don't know if you want advice or just for me just to listen or something like that, and they're so cute. I love them so much. Like, I shipped them last season. I did not ship them from the beginning. I know a lot of people ship Mako and Korra from the beginning, I think, but I didn't ship them from the beginning, but by the end of the episode I really shipped Mako and Korra. But this season, so far, it's only 3 episodes in, and I shipped them so much more than I did before. Like, I am so in love with them as a couple. I just love them together so much. Korra's dad getting, I didn't completely understand if, were they arresting, okay, it's not that, I don't remember what the exact wording was at the end of the episode, so I don't remember if they were arresting just her dad or her mom and her dad. I don't think Korra was getting arrested, but okay, so you have to be pretty screwed up in order to arrest your own brother for assassinating you. Like, because the guy told them that he wouldn't join them, and it seemed pretty obvious that he was telling the truth. So, like, he really has no reason to really believe that his brother was part of the, like, plot to assassinate him or whatever. Were they assassinating him, or were they just locking him up? I don't even remember. They were arresting him on charges for trying to assassinate him, I remember. But I don't remember if they were actually trying to assassinate him or just lock him up or something. But point is, that, like, I don't know. Okay, he kind of is starting to remind me, well, I mean, he is kind of reminding me of, like, Ozai and kind of Azula because of the sibling thing. But he really, like, he just kind of has the same demeanor as Ozai, I think. And that's probably not that odd considering, well, they're both, like, lords and whatever, chiefs and whatnot, and they're both kind of evil, but it just kind of hit me that it's really starting to remind me of Ozai, especially the locking your own brother up thing. Like, Ozai locked Iroh up, and that's going to be interesting. I'm wondering if, like, what Korra's going to do now, because I think she was already, I mean, if she didn't realize that her uncle is really screwed up before, I think her uncle locking her dad up is going to, like, really set that in stone for her. Like, she is definitely not going to like her uncle after that, and I don't really know what her uncle is doing, because I think her uncle has kind of set everything on Korra trusting him and Korra doing what he tells her to. Like, he needs her to do whatever in the north and open the portal or whatnot, which also seems kind of weird because I don't really know why he wants that portal open so badly. I don't really know what he's trying to accomplish there, but I don't know why he would lock her dad up when he knows that that's going to anger Korra and he needs Korra, and I don't think even he thinks that he can disobey Korra, like, and keep her as that he can be successful if he has her as an enemy, because yes, there's only one of her and he has all these troops and whatnot, but she's the Avatar, and I don't think, like, he knows that she has power, and yeah, they may be able to hold her off for a little bit, but I don't think they'll be able to hold her off for that long. And so I don't know what he's doing something that is going to anger her when he really needs her support and has been trying to keep her support for the entire rest of the show. Okay, I had saved this as last because I thought I was going to ramble about it forever and I wanted to hold it off, but then I ended up rambling about that forever, and I don't even want to know how long this video is now, so I don't even care anymore. We need to talk about Aang and how Aang was as a father. So I saw some people after the episode aired talking about how Kaya and Bumi might have been exaggerating, which I do think is true because you tend to exaggerate these things, I think. Like, I know out of me and my siblings, my sister is constantly going on about how spoiled me and my brother are, and, like, she goes on about it all the time, and I personally know that my brother is really spoiled in comparison to me and my sister because he's the baby of the family, but it's not like a huge difference, you know? Like, but you know, as siblings you tend to exaggerate those sorts of things. Like if one parent gives some, like if one kid gets a present or something, this is a really weird random example, but you know, like you tend to focus on how your siblings are spoiled and not how you're spoiled in like any way. So I think everyone thinks that their parents spoil their other siblings more than they do them, and it's just kind of like, and you tend to exaggerate it. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I shouldn't be filming this video right now. My thoughts are too scattered, but the point is, I definitely do think they could have been exaggerating how much Aang favored Tenzin, because you tend to exaggerate these things. But I also think they were way too serious for it to be entirely untrue. I do think that there's truth to it. Basically, I just kind of think, I think Aang loved all three of his kids. Like, I definitely don't think that Aang was like an unloving father or something, but you have to think, Tenzin was the only airbender. Aang had to teach him airbending. He couldn't like teach Boomy bending because Boomy wasn't a bender. And then there was Katara to teach Kaya waterbending. Like, yeah, Aang could do it. Now, he might have helped, we don't really know, but Katara was there to do that. But Aang was the only person in the world who could teach Tenzin airbending. And I think because of that, that automatically having to train Tenzin as an airbender would have meant that he spent more time with Tenzin, and therefore might have become somewhat closer. And I definitely think that that's all true, but I think my mom is calling. Hold on. I have to call my mom back as soon as I'm done filming this video. Okay, so basically what was I saying? Okay, about Aang. Yeah, I think that he probably spent more time with Tenzin because he had to train Tenzin as an airbender, but, and I think that might have come about as being, like, spoiling Tenzin a bit more. Tenzin probably went with him on trips because Aang was training him and that sort of thing, you know? And that doesn't, I'm not trying to excuse it necessarily. I'm really upset about this. Like, I'm really upset about this. You don't understand how upset I am about that. Like, Kaya and Boomy not really, like, I don't know, they don't seem to hate Aang, but they're kind of, you can tell that they're kind of bitter about it, and I understand completely. But and I do really hope that, like, I don't want to think of Aang as a bad dad, and I don't think he was necessarily a bad dad. I think, generally speaking, he was probably a good dad. It's just that he kind of did tend to favor Tenzin because Tenzin was an airbender, and I think, like, I don't know, I don't even know how to voice how I'm feeling, because it's a really emotional thing for me, because, I mean, I love Aang so much, and I don't want to think negatively of him, because, I mean, the entire course of Avatar: The Last Airbender, Aang is, like, the most pure-hearted person in that show, and, like, it's not that he doesn't have faults, but he's a really good person, and I don't want to think of him as a bad father. And so yeah, it's possible, but I don't want to, at the same time, I don't want to become a person who's just like, no, Aang was amazing and all of this has to be untrue and stuff like that. I just feel like Kaya and Boomy might have been exaggerating a little bit. Like, I don't think that we should think of, like, we shouldn't portray Aang as some horrible person because of this, or some horrible father. Like, I don't think he was a bad dad, but I think this goes to show that he wasn't perfect at the same time. Like, I think no parent is going to be a perfect parent, and I just feel like just because Kaya and Boomy are emphasizing things that Aang did wrong as a dad, they are probably exaggerating. The siblings like getting on each other's nerves anyway, and I think that's one way that they give Tenzin a hard time. That doesn't mean there isn't truth to what they're saying, because Aang wasn't perfect and couldn't have been a perfect dad, and so I don't want people to, like, demonize Aang based on this, and like it upsets me, but it makes sense because no one is perfect, and obviously Aang couldn't be a perfect father. He was the Avatar, he had a lot of stress like that, and I know they kind of hint that he became a bit too obsessed with his duty and everything, which I think makes sense, and I think a lot of people in that sort of power would become like that, and so I definitely think that that's probably true. He probably became a bit too obsessed with being the Avatar, a bit too absorbed with his job, and probably focused on Tenzin more than he should have in comparison to his other kids. But I don't think that means that he was an absolutely horrible father, and I would like to still think about him positively overall, even though he obviously made mistakes and didn't do everything right. And yeah, I don't even know if any of that made sense. I'm going to stop talking about Aang now because it's emotional for me, and it makes me so emotional that I don't really think that I am doing a good job of saying what I think. The only other thing I want to say is I really want to know where Iki went, because they were searching for a really long time and didn't find her, and she just like disappeared, and I'm wondering if that's going to have anything to do with anything, like if it's just a random plot device to get the three siblings together, or if that's actually going to play another role in the plot, like she found something or something. I don't even know, but I guess we'll find out next episode. This is probably extremely long, and I need to call my mom back. So I will see you guys later. Bye.